So what is going on YouTube? It's gonna be a little bit of a different video today. I've got to put brakes on the truck. The brake pads are done. I'm gonna talk a little bit about something that I've wanted to sort of do on this channel. This may be a series, it may be a group of videos, but I'm talking about things that you need to know before you go street racing, or if you're thinking about it. I'm not gonna promote illegal activity, but you need, if you're gonna do it, you need to do it safe. I'm gonna talk about one of the top things that I think that you should think about before you ever go out and try it, ever. And I think it's probably number one, if not top three, that you should think about. So let's get into it. So the number one thing, or at least one of the top things you should think about whenever, if you're thinking about going out and doing some form of dig style racing, is the promoter slash flagger slash person in charge. It is going to greatly affect your experience, just your overall, you know, whether you get home at the end of the night or not. That is really what it comes down to. There's quite a few things that they should be taking care of and that they should be doing. Reason that I don't put them on is because I do not feel comfortable with being in charge of that many people and that many people's well-being. If you go to a good dig style race, cash days style, whatever you want to call it, you need to have somebody who is in charge, somebody who is organized, and somebody who is on top of things. Also somebody who is willing to make hard decisions at you know, in very critical times and very heated, stressful situations. So one of the main reasons that you want somebody who is organized is, for one, it just makes everything smoother. You need to know where the cars are going to be. If there's security, you need to know times, you need to know dates, you need to know places. And if it's haphazardly put together, it's going to be more stressful for you, and it's not going to be enjoyable. You want to be worried about winning. You want to be worried about racing your car. You don't want to be worried about outside influences. And when you have somebody who puts together a good race, you don't have to do that. All you have to worry about is the tune-up in your car and what you've got to do to beat the guy next to you. I've been to quite a few places with quite a few different promoters, flaggers, whatever you want to call it. It really does make all the difference. If you're just grudge racing, you know, you may be able to get away with just a flagger who's a mutual friend or something like that. You go to a spot, you knock it out, no big deal. But if you're going to go to a shootout style race, make sure you know who's putting it on. Check their credibility. Check if they've done it before. Check if there's security. It's going to save you a lot of headache in the long run, like a ton. I have been to the Midwest, and there's three top people. You've got Limpy, 660 Street, Richard, and Toby from the KT Streets. Those three have made our experiences at those spots literally almost pain-free, anxiety-free, just about the racing and about having a good time. You know, I've raced quite a few different other places and mostly haven't had any issues with promoters or flaggers or whatever you want to call them. It's really a major deal when it comes to your safety. You know, you're probably not going to have time, especially if it's dark, to walk the entire road to see what's going on. You're not going to have time to know what security is and things of that nature, where you need to park, things that they should have all that lined out for you. And it's just going to make your job a lot easier if you've got the right person putting it on. I have been places where we went out of town and we tried to race. We didn't do it with the promoter, and it wasn't their fault or our fault. It was just somebody wanted to race and they found a spot and ended up getting busted, and somebody ended up getting a car impounded, and it was not a great ordeal. And so from there on out, I was like, I will not race out of town unless I am with that person putting that on. And it's just going to save you a lot of headache if you do that. You're putting your money in their hands, you're putting your trust in their hands, and really putting your life in their hands. Make sure that they know what they're doing. The guys that I've talked about, they take this almost like their job, their profession, that this is their love of what they do. Make sure that whoever's putting your life in their hands is responsible for it. They're not going to run off at the first sign of something bad happening, that they're not going to take your money and run off, or they're going to treat you right and make the right calls. Most of the time that I've seen guys have problems when it came to street stuff is the flagger didn't have either the balls to make a call, was biased one way, or just was not up to the task of making decisions the way that they needed to be. They just wanted to flag and leave. And that's just not really gonna be the case. Now, if you have somebody who's putting it on that's different than the flagger, that's a whole different ordeal, and that's fine. Most of the time, that's a pretty organized instance if they have somebody designated as the flagger. But I just wanted to bring this to you, just a couple of, I'm gonna try to do some like street racing do's and don'ts type of series. I'm not an expert by any means, but I'll give you my take of what I have done and give you my perspective. I've had some quite great racing, lost a lot of first rounds, but it is what it is. That's I want to give you guys some form of you can sit here and think about some things and make sure that you're doing it the right way so that it doesn't end up being a bad ordeal. I'm gonna put brakes on this truck, and I really appreciate you watching the video. Drop a comment on if you have any other things that you'd like to see me talk about, or you have any questions or anything like that. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe if you already haven't, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.